All right, so it is a beautiful night here in Pennsylvania, and today we're going to be working on some Dawn Redwoods. So let's take a look at them. All right, so today we have my Dawn Redwood tree that I've been growing from seed. I started growing this, I believe it was in early 2022, and yeah, this one is growing fantastic. This is the mother tree to all of my other little Dawn Redwood cuttings. And yeah, I'm really proud of this one. And it has been growing fantastic all summer. And what I want to do is I want to prune it down because it's getting quite out of hand. And I want to take the apex of this tree down a little bit because as you can see, it's put on tons of growth this year. So yeah, I'm gonna come in here, give it a couple quick prunes, and we'll go from there, get it back into shape. So let's do this. All right, so the first thing I want to do is to prune off this big apex. So if you look, we have the base of the tree right here, down at the bottom. And originally we had a branch right here, which we still do. We have that branch there. And then behind this branch here is another branch that I was training. It has some ramification. And then up here in the back is my original apex. But what I want to do is I want to prune this big new apex off because I don't want that one. So that's going to be the first big cut right there. All right, so as you can see, this is about the size of from my elbow to the tips of my fingers here that we're going to be cutting off. So it's a big cut. And I'm going to do a bit of a rough prune, and then I'm going to clean up the base down here. So here we go. Look at that. Wow. Quite the difference. All right, this will make some good cuttings. All right, so that is a lot more manageable now. You can see the big wound right there that will hopefully clean up in the future. Now, what to do next? I honestly am not 100% sure if I'm going to be doing a lot more pruning here because a lot of these longer branches are not ready to be pruned because when you prune Dawn Redwoods, you want the branches to be reddened a little bit and to be lignified. And like this green one right here, this one is not ready. This one up here is not ready. I probably could cut it back there where it's lignified a little bit, but I don't think so. But what I do want to do is I want to clean up that cut over there. All right, so let's clean up this cut a little bit. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And hopefully that will close up pretty well. The wounds on Dawn Redwood actually heal pretty fast. As you can see, here's some 2 past wounds from, maybe a year or so ago, and they're closing up really well. So I have a feeling that this wound down there will be just fine. So for the rest of this tree, what am I going to do? I don't know if I'm going to do much. So looking at this tree, we have our trunk here, and then we have 2 branches actually right here. It's kind of tough to tell, but if you look right here, this right here is an additional branch that's right underneath this one here. And I I do not want this little branch, so I'm going to get rid of it. There we go. That cleaned this up. We have some branches here that are doing exactly what I want it to do. So this branch comes out, splits to two. This one comes out and has two new branches that split to two. So that's exactly what I wanted that to do. We have a little bud right here that I don't want. Let me just take that off. So for this branch back here, that one, this one didn't exactly, it didn't split to two, but we do have one branch there, and I'm just gonna let that go. And I see some little green buds here. There you go, you can see that right there. And hopefully that will bud out and become another branch. We have a little tiny bit of a branch right here that I don't want. So I'm going to snip that back. If we jump from this branch to this branch here, we have a little tiny baby branch that is right at the edge that I don't want. I can just pull that right off. And then if we come here, we have 1, 2, 3 branches there, and I do not want 3 branches. And honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the direction of any of these branches. I was hoping that they would come out a little bit more, whereas all 3 are 1, 2, and 3. They're all going straight up. I like how this one's growing. That's not too bad. So I'll leave that one. And I'm debating taking this one off because we have this little baby branch here that could potentially come out a little bit. So yeah, I want to take this long branch off. So let's do that here. There we go. Another potential cutting here. I'm going to clean this up a bit. That should be fine. In the back here, we have this little tiny baby branch that I don't want, so I'm just going to rip that right off. All right, this is looking pretty good. Looking good, looking good. I want to focus on the apex up here now. All right, so we have one branch here, a second branch back here, and a third branch right there. Now, part of me is like, oh, maybe we'll keep this third branch right here because it's the tallest, but I'm not so sure. I might want to zap some of the vigor out of this tree and get rid of 2 of these instead of, splitting it to 2 up here, because this is not, I don't intend for this to be split into 2 so early down here. So I think I'm going to keep just one of these right here. You know what? I think I am going to get rid of this one. And I will get rid of one of these as well. Because this is not the end-all leader right here. All right, and I think I am done with this one now, so I'm going to leave it here. And I probably won't touch this until, I'm going to guess, end of year, maybe even into next spring, because I just want this to grow for the rest of the year. So yeah, that's it for this one. And I have one other Dawn Redwood that I want to prune up, so let me go grab that and we'll bring it back over here. All right, and so next up we have another Dawn Redwood, and this one is a cutting from that one that I just pruned up there. So this one has been growing since, I believe it was, early summer last year is when I got this as a cutting. So I rooted it into the ground, and it survived the winter, and it actually grew a decent amount last year. So in January of 2025, I did a little prune on it, and as you can see, it put on a lot of growth. And today what we're gonna do is prune it up, because you know it's getting a little big and it needs to be cut back. And yeah, let's get at it. All right, so let's look over this thing. So we start off at the bottom down here, and we have a little baby branch down there. And one thing I think I want to try with this tree is to have the branches as low as possible, because if you ever see a Dawn Redwood in nature or at a park or something, most times the branches are super low to the ground, and they have almost these vertical or 45-degree angle branches coming up, shooting up, and they almost start like this, and then they work their way up like that, which I believe is like a flame shape, I believe is what they call it. So it would be cool to have all the branches be up on an angle like that, or at least have a lot of low branches on this one. So that's what I'm aiming for. So I'm going to keep these two branches down there as of right now. But the first branch that I see is, let me get a little bit closer. But if you see here, now that we're a little closer, we have this branch here, and then this one right here that shoots straight up. And I'm not exactly sure if I want that. I may want to keep it just because we have, oh my goodness, we have another branch back here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 branches coming out in a very similar spot. Now, this branch right here comes up and bifurcates right up here in its own. I do want to zap some of the energy out of these really thick branches up here. So what I think I will start by doing is taking out the thick one here that comes up and bifurcates into 1, 2, 3, actually, it looks like. So let's do that first. We're just gonna do a little bit of a rough cut to start. So you can see that took a lot of the energy out right there, which is good, quite different. This will make a good little cutting as well. So next up, I think I want to take off this really big one right here. So let's dive in and snip that back. And we're just going to do another little rough prune. There it goes. One thing that's interesting is that it is green down here, but then right up here where it's split into two, it's starting to red off right there. It's starting to redden a little bit and lignify, which is interesting that it's starting here and then potentially working its way down. So that's strange. But yeah, we're going to get rid of this one here. And actually, I'm just going to pull this little bit off there that we don't need. So let's snip this back. And we'll do a little flush cut right here. Potentially another little cutting. Now, if you look down here, you'll see that this little branch, let me get this guy out of the way. This branch comes out right here and then has this little branch here and this branch right here. However, these aren't considered branches yet because they have not lignified, so it is just a little leaflet at the moment. So, or I think it's a frond at the moment. So I don't think I want to keep this one because we have this one that I'm holding back. It's kind of covering, it's going underneath this one that I do want to keep at the moment. So I'm going to just pinch this one back. And now I just want to clean up some of these little stubs up here. That off there. There. Right here, there's 2 branches coming at the same spot. We'll snip this one off. I think this one's fine. This one up top can go. And I think the rest of this is fine. I think we'll let it go there. As far as the front right now, there's not really a direct front, maybe here. But it's so young in its stage right now, I'm not even worrying about a front. I'm just trying to get a structure going. So yeah, we'll leave this one where it's at, and yeah, we'll go from there. So this one's kind of obnoxious now that I'm looking at it, but we'll leave it. It doesn't matter. And actually, I have a couple other cuttings that I got from, I believe they were from either my January pruning or my summer pruning of last year from these Dawn Redwoods. So I'm going to up pot them right now. So let's do that. All right, and now to wrap up this little Dawn Redwood session here, we're going to pot up or up pot some of these other little Dawn Redwood cuttings. So again, these are all cuttings from the original Dawn Redwood that I pruned up at the very beginning of the video. So the reason I'm slip potting these today is that I just want them to have a little bit more room to grow, and the containers I put them in were just little starter ones that, you know, I didn't know if they would even take as cuttings. So we're going to take them to the next stage and get them in some pots that are a little bit bigger. So let's do this. All right, so we're gonna start off with this Dawn Redwood here that is in a little fast food container here, a little fast food drink container, I should say. We have a lot of roots down here, so let's take this out. And recently I whipped up a bunch of bonsai soil over here that I sifted. That is a mixture of about 40% perlite, about 40% calcined clay, and about 20% of the orchid bark here. So we'll put that off to the side. And for this first tree here, we're going to use this plastic training pot. I don't think I'm going to put any type of screens at the bottom here because we already have one built in. So we'll leave that be. I will try to contain some of this organic soil. So we'll just leave this here. And yeah, you can see that the roots are all coiled up underneath there. So hopefully we can get this screen out without too much damage. The roots here. Okay, well, you know, I might as well just throw that down there. It doesn't hurt anything. And I'm just gonna kind of loosen up any of this other, this is coca-cola soil here. So I'm just gonna loosen it up a little bit. Not get rid of any roots. It looks like we lost a little bit but that should be fine. So let me move this to the side for now. All right, and I'm just gonna put a little mask over my face here because I don't want to breathe any of that soil, a little dust from the bonsai soil here. All right, so I think I'm gonna try and bury it right around here because I think the root base is right under here. So here we go. All right, that will do it. Yeah, I think that will do. That's not too bad. Maybe not the, maybe the front was actually right there, but it's so young. I'm not even worrying about that. I'll probably even maybe do a repot on this next year, or the, maybe I'll leave this in here for a year. Who knows? Either way, it's good for now. Maybe on the next 3 trees, I'll be a little bit more mindful of the potential front, which would be right there, because we have a little branch here, a little branch there. Yeah, not too bad. So we'll let this grow and come back to this in the future. All right, and next up we have this little baby one right here. So let's grab our little Coca-Cola catcher right here and see what we got. Ooh, this one's a little wet. This particular one doesn't have, this container doesn't have great drainage. Look how small that little hole is. So as you probably noticed there, a lot of water just came out of there. So that was retaining a decent amount of water. And actually it has a little bit of a stench to it, so that's not that great. So definitely not draining too well there. But the benefit for that though is that Dawn Redwoods really love to get their feet wet. So that's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. So we have a little drainage screen here. Let's see if we can gently get out. Okay, got that out. And again, we'll just kind of massage these out, because now is not the time of year to do any type of root work on it. So I don't want to go too crazy, but I think it'll be okay if I do a slip pot on here. Is that getting rid of too much of the soil? Maybe. I did take a little bit of root off there. But yeah, I think it's for the benefit of the tree to get it in a better container. So yeah, let's get the pot that we're going to use on this one. So for this one here, we're going to use this pot. This is a little clay or ceramic pot. This is one that I drilled a hole into right there, and also made some little grooves on the side so that the water can drain out properly. So I'm getting a little dirty here with this Coca-Cola, but you get the idea. All right, so let's pot this up. I will reuse this drainage screen here, so put that there. Let me cover my mouth a little bit so I don't breathe in any of the bonsai soil particulates. And away we go. All right, that'll work. All right, and this one is not so bad. This one's in its nice fresh soil, and yeah, I think this will do well in the coming days and the rest of the summer. So we'll set this to the side and get another tree. All right, so this is another pot that I got that I'm going to be using. This is actually a some type of bowl that I got at one of the big box stores, and it's a little dirty. I had it outside, but again, I drilled a hole there, and also have some little drainage spots here where I nicked it so that I can have the water drain through. So yeah, not too bad. So we have that pot right there. So the tree that I'm going to use is this one right here. So it's another one that is in Coca-Cola, and yeah, we're gonna take it out and put it in that pot. So let's get our Coca-Cola container here. Now this one does have some roots coming out of the bottom, so I want to be a little bit careful that I don't tear too many. And it looks like I did an okay job there. This container here is actually a mac and cheese container that from my son. You can see some of the remnants of the paper plastic type of material there. And yeah, just drilled a little hole in here, or cut a little hole in here, and it works as a nice little seedling container. So that will get used in the future for more little cuttings. So we have a lot of roots going on here, and let's just gently work away at some of this soil. Looks like we found our root base right here. And I think we will leave it at that we do have this root right here. So I will do some root pruning and just prune that one back there. And we have a drainage screen here. There we go, not too bad. A little bit of damage there, but not horrible. And so we have our 2 drainage screens right here. And again, I'm gonna cover up my face so that I don't breathe any of the particulates. Oh wow, and I already went through all the soil that I mixed up. Might have a little tiny bit more. Yes, I have a little bit more here. I think that might be just enough. Now this one is actually a little wobbly, so I'm going to put our little guy here to kind of hold up the tree. So that should be fine there. Actually, it looks kind of cool. So yeah, we'll leave that guy there. All right, actually, that's kind of a nice little happy accident right there. I like how this is right here on our little guy right there. So yeah, I think just enough soil to finish this project up. It is leaning a little bit, but I actually don't mind that little bit of a lean. That's kind of cool. So yeah, we'll leave that there. He's getting a little bit in his face, but I might actually just rip that little bit off right there. That's not so bad. Yeah, I kind of like that. Maybe if we even, oh yeah, we'll put it right behind his ear there. Cool. All right, so yeah, so I actually had 4 that I was gonna pot up. Here was the 4th one here, but I decided against it because number 1, I'm out of soil and I gotta mix up some more soil. And number 2, this pot is okay. I think it'll be okay in this container right here. This is actually a frozen dinner tray that I salvaged. So recycling some containers. As you can see, there's a bunch of roots underneath there, so we'll let it be. I think it'll be fine for the rest of the season, and then we'll come back in the spring and definitely do a repot on this guy. So yeah, it's looking good. So I think we're gonna leave it there for today. So yeah, a lot of Dawn Redwood fun today. So yeah, we'll see how these things grow in the future and come back in a couple months to 6 months, maybe even next year at some point. So I'm sure the growing season will be very successful, hopefully, for these little Dawn Redwoods. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching.